What does the Deloitte online assessment look like, and how can you pass it? Before we begin, I want to say why I'm the right person to discuss the Deloitte online assessment. I'm Melissa, and I'm part of My Consulting Offer, where we've helped hundreds of aspiring consultants pass the Deloitte online assessment on their way to landing their offer at Deloitte, and we want to help you get your Deloitte offer too. Let's get started. So what exactly is the Deloitte online assessment? The Deloitte online assessment follows the online application as the second stage of the Deloitte recruitment process. If you progress to this stage, you'll be invited to participate in the Deloitte Immersive Online Assessment. This assessment provides a glimpse into the types of situations you might encounter in a typical workday as a new analyst at Deloitte. The assessment's overarching theme revolves around technology, innovation, and the digital world. The assessment comprises 35 questions divided into 5 sections, evaluating both situational judgment and numerical reasoning. The initial section offers an overview of life at Deloitte Consulting through video content without any questions. Despite the lack of questions, it's important to spend time on this section. Consider it a warm-up and an opportunity to learn about Deloitte's values. Understanding Deloitte Consulting's work and values will better equip you to tackle the questions in the subsequent sections. The second section of the Deloitte online assessment focuses on factors contributing to success. This part consists of 8 scenario-based questions where you'll need to determine the most appropriate responses to hypothetical workplace situations. There are 2 ways to answer the questions. 1. Rank the answers in order from most likely response, 1 to least likely response, 5. 2. Drag a slider along a scale showing 2 opposing answers to indicate your preferred way of working. These questions are designed to assess your situational judgment, and while there's no definitive wrong answer, it's crucial to consider Deloitte's purpose and values when making decisions. This ensures that your responses align with how Deloitte conducts its business. Additionally, apply common sense. While certain answers may seem ideal in theory, they may not be practical in real-world scenarios. Strive to strike a balance between optimal answers and feasibility. Here's a sample question using the situational judgment slider. You're working with a teammate who's analyzing data on a different client business unit than you. You find that the data they've received would lead the team to take the opposite course of action from the data you're analyzing. Would you continue with your analysis, ignoring the data consistency, or work with your teammate to understand what's driving the inconsistent data? The differences in the data you and your teammate are analyzing could have one of several causes. Problems with data quality, a mistake in your analysis, a mistake in your teammate's analysis, a difference between the fundamental economics driving the business of the 2 business units. Since it's also important that your work is complete, you could place the slider toward the right-hand side, but not at the very end. There will be a range of choices that are considered the correct answer, not one single point on the slider. The third section of the Deloitte online assessment centers on the initial steps at Deloitte. You'll be presented with a hypothetical consulting project similar to what you might encounter in your early days at Deloitte. This section includes 3 sources of information about the project, typically in the form of photographs. You'll be asked 9 situational judgment questions about this consulting project. You need to rank your answers from most likely response, 1 to least likely response, 5. As with previous sections, it's essential to keep Deloitte's purpose and values in mind while answering these questions. Additionally, use common sense to ensure your responses are practical and aligned with real-world scenarios. The fourth section of the Deloitte online assessment focuses on the future of work. This section is more challenging and includes both written and numerical information for you to analyze. You'll be tested on both situational judgment and numerical reasoning skills. Similar to previous sections, the situational judgment questions in this section require rank order responses. To answer the numerical reasoning questions in this section, you'll need to analyze the provided information sources and calculate the correct answer from 5 multiple-choice options. While the calculations themselves are straightforward, the source information is detailed. Begin by reading the question to understand what you're looking for, and then review the source information. It's crucial to read the information carefully and ensure you have all the necessary data before attempting to solve the calculation. Here's a numerical reasoning question example using data about unemployment rates presented in a bar graph. What is the average percentage of unemployment across all 3 London regions? To answer this question, you need to identify the percentage of unemployment in the 3 London regions. Greater London, 8.2%. Outer London, 7.9%. Inner London, 8.6%. Add these 3 numbers together. 8.2% plus 7.9% plus 8.6% equals 24.7%. Divide this total by 3 to get the average for the 3 London regions. 24.7 divided by 3 equals 8.233%. Choose the correct answer from the options given. If you have access to the weighted average using the different populations of the 3 sections of London, it would be a more accurate and comprehensive solution. The last section of the Deloitte online assessment, titled The Rise of Automation, mirrors the previous section. It includes a mix of 10 numerical reasoning and situational judgment questions. You'll need to analyze 5 numerical and written sources, and the math involved is more intricate. In addition to basic arithmetic, you'll also be required to calculate the equation of a straight line and make some assumptions to determine estimated values. The Deloitte online assessment is untimed but must be completed in one sitting. On average, it takes 60 to 75 minutes to finish the test. Let's look at an example of a typical situational judgment question on the Deloitte online assessment. You're presented with a scenario and options to rank in order of most likely, 1 to least likely, 5. Here's the scenario. You're part of a team in a new project, and you have to assign roles to members of the team. One member of the team is scheduled to make a presentation to the client's senior manager, but your supervisor has requested her help on another urgent task. What would you do? Here are the options. I would confidently replace my colleague and give the presentation. I would ask my colleague to share her notes, then deliver the presentation. I would ask my colleague to see if the other task can be postponed. I would ask her to reschedule the presentation for another day. It's important that she delivers it. I would not do anything as it's her duty to manage her time and resolve the issue herself. Got your answer? Great. Now, let's hear how a consulting interview expert would answer. To answer this question, it's important to understand Deloitte Consulting's core values. For example, one of Deloitte's core values is commitment to each other. The last option means leaving your colleague to struggle by herself, which would be counter to this core value and should be ranked least likely. 5. Another core value is outstanding value to markets and clients. If your colleague is the best person to deliver the presentation, that should be the priority. Remember that urgent tasks are not necessarily important. If you do decide to deliver the presentation yourself, make sure to use any background notes your colleague has prepared so you can do the best job possible for the client. Based on this, here's our sample answer. First is number 4. I would confidently replace my colleague and give the presentation. Next is number 3. I would ask my colleague to share her notes, then deliver the presentation. Then, the next one is number 1. I would ask my colleague to see if the other task can be postponed. Next is number 2. I would ask her to reschedule the presentation for another day. It's important that she delivers it. And lastly, we have number 5. I would not do anything, as it's her duty to manage her time and resolve the issue herself. Now, before you jump into the Deloitte online assessment, I want to provide you with some tips to pass this test. First, practice. Mastering situational judgment questions requires practice, so use free resources that offer such questions. Practice aptitude tests, for example, provide sample questions that can be incredibly helpful. I'll link to their site in the video description below. There are also free brain training apps, such as 𝗩𝗏𝗏, where you can practice calculations through math games. My next tip is to conduct thorough research. While there's no definitive correct answer to the situational judgment section, understanding the qualities of successful consultants at Deloitte, as well as the company's values and business acumen, can help you make decisions when faced with challenging choices. And my last tip for you is to prepare yourself and your environment. Schedule the assessment at a time when you're most alert, whether it's in the morning or afternoon. Ensure your surroundings are free from distractions and gather all necessary materials beforehand. And if you're taking an online assessment like the Deloitte online assessment, I'd like to help you even more. If you comment below the name of the firm and the test that you're taking, I'll share with you additional free resources. For example, if you comment Deloitte online assessment below, I'll send you some additional resources. And if you're 100% serious about becoming a management consultant at Deloitte or another amazing consulting firm, I'd love to help you. My team and I are former consulting recruiters and interviewers who help applicants get and pass the interviews so they land their consulting offer. To date, we have a 90% success rate that is 9 out of 10 applicants who work with us land at least one offer and have helped over 800 people already land a consulting job. If you are serious about becoming a management consultant and want to hear how we can help you, click the link below to book a call with my team to find out more. Booking this call could put you one step closer to landing your offer at Deloitte and other management consulting firms. But you don't have to take my word for it. Hear it from 𝗢𝗻𝗲𝗄. 𝗢𝗻𝗻𝗄 was able to land his dream offer at Deloitte, despite not knowing how he can get his foot in the door and how to do case interviews. I'll link to his video somewhere above my head. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.